Hi there, this is Ms. Estes, and today we are going to be dividing with fractions. Our I can statement is I can apply and extend previous understandings of division to divide unit fractions by whole numbers and whole numbers by unit fractions. A unit fraction is a fraction that has a 1 in the numerator. 1/6 and 1/4 are examples of unit fractions. Let's take a look at a problem to learn about division with unit fractions. A butcher wants to divide 3 pounds of meat into packages that will each contain a half pound of meat. How many packages can he make? This problem can be solved by dividing 3 into half-pound groups. It can be helpful to use a number line model to solve the problem. So here's our problem, and they have taken a number line. We have 3 pounds of meat, so we see all the way to 3 in the red 3. And we are dividing it into half-pound groups. So this problem can be solved by finding 3 divided by 1/2. It can be helpful to use a number line model to understand the problem. So we see all the different half-pound groups that we could make with 3 pounds of meat. The model shows that 3 divided by 1/2 equals 6 because we can see there are 6 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The butcher can make 6 packages that each contain a half pound of meat. Another way to say this is that the butcher can make 2 packages of meat per pound. Because if here's 1 pound, he can make 2 packages. Here's another pound, he can make 2 packages. And here's the third pound, he can make 2 packages. An equation that shows this is 3 times 2 equals 6. So 3 divided by 1/2 equals 6, and 3 times 2 equals 6. Division and multiplication with fractions are related, just like division and multiplication with whole numbers are related. So let's take a look at this problem. Bailey has 2 hours of reading to complete over the weekend. She wants to break up her reading time into half-hour blocks. How many times will she read this weekend? A model would be very helpful to help us figure this out. We know that she has 2 hours of reading that she needs to complete, and she wants to break it into half-hour blocks. So we can just draw 2 squares. There's 1 hour. There's another hour. And she wants to break it up into half-hour blocks. So we can break it in half. So there's one half-hour block. Here's another half-hour block. And then break this one in half. So we have, here's a half, here's a half, here's a half, and here's a half. So how many times will she read this weekend? Well, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4. So she will read 4 times this weekend. So the equation that we could write to represent this model, we took 2 hours, and we divided by 1/2, and we ended up with 4 times that she's going to read this weekend. 3 friends want to equally share 3/4 of a bag of potato chips. What fraction of the bag will each friend get to eat? So we have 3/4 of a bag of potato chips, and we have 3 friends that are wanting to share this. So we need to make sure that what is being divided up is what we are actually starting with. We are not dividing up the friends. We want to make sure we're dividing up the bag of potato chips. So here's a bag of potato chips, and they are sharing 3/4 of a bag. So I'm going to first divide it into fourths, and I need to represent 3/4 because that's how much is in the bag. All right, oh, too many. There we go, 3/4. So 3/4 is what we're starting with. And how many friends want to share this bag? Well, there are 3 friends, so we want to make sure that we divide it into 3 equal groups. All right. So now we can take a look. Here is the amount for one friend. Here is the amount for the second friend. And here is the amount for the third friend. And we can even label it first friend, second friend, and third friend. So if we look to see how much each one will get, we got to figure out, what does this represent? Well, I see that there are 3 pieces shaded. And how many pieces are in the whole? So there's 4, 8, 12. So that would equal 3/12 for each friend. Well, 3/12 can also be reduced because we can divide 3 and 12 by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So each friend is going to get 1/4 of the bag. Which makes sense because there is 3/4 left, so there's enough for each friend to get 1/4. Isaac has 6 pages of homework to complete this week. If he completes 1/3 of a page at a time, how many times throughout the week will he work on his homework? So he has 6 pages, so I'm going to draw 6 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And he only is going to complete 1/3 of a page at a time. So we can take each page and divide it into thirds, since that he's only completing 1/3 at a time. Then we can go back and count the number of thirds that we have, and that will let us know how many times he has to work on his homework throughout the week. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we know that he's going to have to work on his homework 18 times. So we took 6 pages and we divided it into thirds. And we came up with 18 times he's going to have to work on his homework. Well, is there a multiplication problem or a multiplication equation that we could have used to solve this problem? Because once I took these 6 pages of homework and I divided it into thirds, I could see there were 6 pages to start with, and now in each page, I see 3 sections. So we can multiply 6 times 3, which also equals 18. So even though this is truly a division problem, we could have used multiplication to help us solve that problem. And that's because division and multiplication are related. So dividing with fractions. If we are dividing a whole number by a unit fraction, we are going to end up with a whole number as our product. Such as this example. We started with 6 apples. We divided by the unit fraction 1/2. That means we could share with 12 friends because we now have 12 pieces of the apple. So anytime we start with a whole number and we divide by a unit fraction, our quotient is going to be a whole number answer. If we start with a unit fraction and we divide by a whole number, it's going to equal a fraction. So if we look at this example, we started with 1/2 of a pie. That 1/2 they divided into 6 equal parts. So we're divided by a whole number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the half that we had, we divided into 6 pieces, which meant there were 6 pieces over here also, for a total of 12 pieces in the whole. So 1/2 divided by 6. Each piece is equal to 1/2. So our answer still ends up as a fraction, because that would be 1/12, I'm sorry, because each piece is now 1/12 of the whole. We took the half, divided into 6. We'd have to make sure that we divide the other half into 6 pieces in order to figure out how many pieces would be in the whole. So one of these pieces would represent 1/12 of the whole. So this is just something that we could remember to check and make sure if we're coming up with the right type of quotient. Whole number divided by a unit fraction will equal a whole number, and a unit fraction divided by a whole number will equal a fraction. Good luck dividing with those fractions, guys. I know you can do it. Just remember what we've talked about.